with all the fighting and everything, I thought I will just initiate a non-controversial, something very important topic for me and for the people around me. So this is about really knowing what is that true purpose of religion. I grew up in India, and when I was introduced, I was very young, but there was no force or no pressure on us to really look at things, right? So we were allowed quite a freedom to develop our own thinking, our own understanding of stuff. That way, we were lucky, I think. And later on, after I came to this country and I was exposed to people like J. Krishnamurti, I began to question about identifying with a particular religion. I was never into the religious pomp or all those traditions that they follow. I was not into that much. So it was easy to understand how religions they deviated from the original purpose and they have become a source of division, you know, and also a source of a lot of violence, a lot of, you know, warfare and loss of life and all that. That we know. So any modern man will see that very quickly. That is there. Now, as I understood more Advaitic philosophy, Ramana Maharshi and other people, they have led to this thing called ego transcendence and surrender to the absolute. Okay, so I wrote an article on this in the LinkedIn. I kind of put it up there for anybody is interested. They can read that. So that's the contribution I made this afternoon actually. Now, the ego transcendence is something big for us because as modern people, we want to see why the ego is formed, how the ego is building so much resistance around us, and how it leads to a lot of strife and mental tension in life. And many of the my colleagues also were led to on the wrong way. They came with a service purpose, and then it became a tool to really enhance their ego. I'm not saying the other professions are not there, but what I saw is telling you. So, transcendence of ego means we have to understand why the ego is forming. Is it real? Or is it a shadow of ours that we identify? That kind of understanding. And then religions are supposed to help us to transcend that, either by there's an absolute, there's something bigger power than us, and surrendering to it, or understanding the divinity within us, and the divinity is really beyond the ego, and ego is a false image of ourselves. Okay, that kind of understanding led to be humble, simple, and really loving heart with everybody, and that kind of things are very good. So that is the real purpose of religion for me. So different people have different views, that's fine, but what I am saying is when we are transcending the ego, identifying what we really are, the true nature of ours, then life is much more inviting to other people, accepting other people, and having this equanimous attitude to everybody. You know. So originally, I think if you go to the original whoever contributed whatever religion or initiator, founder, whatever, they may have the truth, but now of their interpretations with all those things, they have become more like a mechanical religious activities people perform without really understanding the what's the meaning and truth behind it. But if you understand it, this thing comes through all the time. How individual is not just the body and mind and the ego, but what is the true nature beyond that. Okay, once you understand that, then it is much easier to see the ego operating in our life and transcend that by being aware of that. You know, it's a big topic. A lot of things have to be covered. But I put a lot of stuff into that article. Maybe people can read that and then come to me with any questions and all that. Okay. So this is something we will do a few days in a row. That way I can cover my experiences and my understanding and how this transcending the religious ferocity are really not really interested in the all the rituals and everything really helped me to be scientifically oriented but at the same time spiritually kind of simple, right? That gave me so much lightness of all this weight that we carry, you know? And if you look at the other way people really suffer so many consequences, that is also there too. So don't identify any particular religion, but look at the religion as a phenomena in human life and how that is really causing problems to so many people, right? But transcending the ego and really understanding the role of um, something transcendent to us, that is the bigger self or bigger energy or whatever we call it, that is there, and then surrendering to it is a big deal. If you observe many of the scientists at the end of their development, they kind of came to the conclusion that this is something uh, happens to people, but they do feel that there's something a bigger strength, bigger self or consciousness or God, whatever you call it, that is always appreciated. Even Einstein said, what is the big deal? I only discovered what is already there. So somebody else must have put it together. So think of that creator, you know. And he was very spiritual. So like that, each individual scientist at the end of their career, they turn towards this higher power, and they appreciated the higher power too. Okay. So think of those things and then read that article, and we will discuss more about that when we meet next time tomorrow. Okay. Uh, I think a lot of people will like what I am saying. I'm not talking against any particular religion, but I'm talking about what is the role of religion in human life, how can we really understand that and then bring in this one. Okay. So it's a question of understanding the true nature of this and then coming to it. Okay. So hopefully that makes some sense, and let me go and tag some people and see whether they will be coming, in terms of the experience that I had over the uh, over the period of time. When I grew up, I was not really exposed to a lot of religious violence because we grew up in a town that is kind of both Muslims and Hindus. They live very peacefully. We never witnessed real violence there. Even my classmates who were of different religions were accepted very easily. So that went very well, childhood and the early adulthood and all. And then there was history of some things happening in the north side of India, and we came to know the history, the violence that was there in both groups for a long time. And then when I came to this country, I was exposed to so many religions, and also there was so much separation and division. And now we see so many wars because of that too. But later on, as I understood, we are all only one earth and one world and one human tribe. I began to really emerge into that and then shut out whatever association I had, either with the nation or with a religion or with a particular faith and all that, right? Then human enlightenment, human enhancement, all those things came into vogue. And then from that, when you look at religion, it becomes such a big part in people. But then transcending the ego was something they have done so much. Even if you take India, the temples, the way they construct the house, the whole thing is you enter the temple to a big door. As you go deeper and deeper into the temple, the door goes down, and then when you really go into the real place where the god or statue is there, the is a very narrow door through which you enter by lowering your head. That's a representative of your bowing down your ego. And then there was something called a Chadagopuram where they bless you with a crown like thing, and that is made up of for this purpose also. So there are so many symbolic meanings about the rituals. I understood that. That's very encouraging to see what it is, right? So with all this looking at things in a different perspective helped a lot. Okay, nowadays people are uh, complaining about the violence, about the divisions and all that, but they don't really say anything about this. Okay, so whatever whatever I was talking about is something may not be daily daily topic for people, but it is important to consider because we see the religious violence right now. Okay, so with that, I would end the room for now, and probably not end in the sense, but uh, maybe discuss at length um, at a later date when more people read this article that I published. And then I'm sure there are so many direct messages come to me because of they read it and then they kind of reach out to me. So that kind of thing is very good. And then I will be talking to people about that. But now, just read that article that I pinned on the clubhouse and get back to me with any concerns and questions, and I'll be talking to you again. Okay. All right. For now, it's a brief talk, and I'll be talking more. It's a preparatory talk for the next few days. I'll be discussing various aspects of this article. But essentially, we're going to look at what is the human development, why the need for religion has arose, what was the purpose originally, how it has deviated, how it has not helped the human life, how it has created a lot of violence, and then actually it is supposed to transform people from within, right? And also provide support for them in case of troubles and all that. People do that in a different way. Okay, so we will discuss all that next few days. um, Probably I will not do it on Thanksgiving Day, but before tomorrow and after that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll be doing this topic. Thank you very much, and I'll be seeing you all tomorrow. Bye bye.